I am proud to have UNC Greensboro Spartans head coach Mike Jones back on the Marching to Madness College Basketball Show. UNCG is tied with Chattanooga for second in the Southern Conference, and both teams are one game off of the front-running Samford Bulldogs. Coach, only 7 games remaining now. The opportunity to win or share that conference sits at the table now for UNCG.
Yeah, man, it's that time of year that we all look forward to, and we hope that we're playing our best basketball here these next 7 games, and that's our driving force is just to get better every day and give ourselves a chance here down the stretch.
Defense is once again a major distinction where the Spartans only allow 40.2% from the field. Opponents score just 64.7 points. Both of those are the top 30 of the 364 college basketball teams listed Division One. So, what has been key elements that you emphasize to stop opponents again this season?
Yeah, you keep looking at it and like, how do we do it again this year? We lost some really good defensive players last year. We brought in a whole new group, and we continued to put an emphasis on making it hard for the other team to stop, and our guys have bought into it. So the basis of it is, we just really want to make teams have to work. We don't want to give them anything easy. So that starts in transition by really working hard to get back and get at 5 defenders, guarding, which really starts on offense with taking care of the basketball. We've really improved in terms of not turning it over this year, which when you turn it over, teams get runouts and 2-on-1s and 3-on-2s, and so we eliminate that by taking care of the ball.
Rosters change, and of course, they change even more every year, more so than in the past.
Yeah.
Crazy time, I think a crazy way to go, but everybody adopts to it and they move on. It's
Nah, you can't do it. You got to adjust with the times, and we've done a good job of that. We brought in some guys that fit, with the returners that we have, and so they've been able to blend together and develop some chemistry. And again, our building blocks are our building blocks, and that starts on the defensive end. And we've been fortunate enough to have a team that's bought into it.
with the change in rosters, how do you change the attack method, but keep it inside the objective that is your defensive philosophy?
Well, you look at each guy's strengths as they come in, and then you try to put those pieces together. And then, like, guys that maybe come in. We had one kid, Demetrius Davis, came in, and he had never really been thought of as a defensive player, and but he bought in because that's what everybody else was bought into. And so, since he's gotten here, he's improved exponentially defensively, and so much so that some of the opponents that he's gone against that are really tough matchups for us, he's been able to shut down.
Now, you guys had a solid 76-61 win over the Citadel last night. Ronald Polite III leads with 22 points as your defense limited the Bulldogs to only 48 shots.
Yeah, we last night was a good win just because, they're a team that, they were hungry for a win on their home court. We were coming off of a tough loss, and so it was a good bounce back for us. But our defense was solid again on the road. I was listening to a Rick Pitino press conference earlier this year, and he said, the person asked, "Why do you win on the road?" And he said, "Well, it starts with you have to be able, your defense has to be good, and it has to travel." And so our defense traveled last night, and we were able to, hold the Citadel down, and then, really scored in the second half. Down the stretch, we executed extremely well, led by Ronald Polite.
Those post game news conferences, by the way, are something I really enjoy on YouTube.
Yeah, me too. Yeah, I don't listen to them as much as I like, but when I do tune in, man, there's some real gems, man, especially from a guy like Patino, who's a Hall of Famer, or Shaka,
Yeah,
who, one of the best coaches in the country that I got a chance to work for. I listen to those guys, and they just teach you, I mean, it's a lesson. It's almost like a classroom lesson.
sure.
Yeah.
Leading scorer Kenyon Giles passed the 1,000 point milestone earlier in the season. He scored over 20 points in 8 games as a Spartan this year.
Yeah. Yeah, KG, man, he can really score the ball. I think he has been doing that since he picked up a basketball. He's got that chip on his shoulder because he's a smaller guy. So, he plays with that edge, and he's got some good ball skills. He can score in the mid range. He can really shoot the ball. And because we have, other good players around us, they can't always focus on him. And so, our guys do a good job of looking for him. But he delivers over and over again, and we're just fired up to have him in our program.
Strategy and attack are things I like to study inside the game because every coach is different, and how they do. So, baseline out of bounds is
Yeah.
always a good study to see how teams operate in that situation. Now, do your baseline out of bounds plays run into the offensive structure, to try to facilitate a certain player based on a matchup?
Yeah, absolutely. Like we take it, we like to look at these baseline out of bounds as opportunities, set plays where we can get a certain guy a certain kind of look or get him the ball so that he, has an opportunity to do what he does. And so each one of our sets is geared toward, a specific guy. We've added a lot this year. We probably have 20 of them, whereas in the past we probably only had 10. Because we have a veteran team, they're able to absorb more, and so it's been good to tinker with it a little bit, and we've had some great success based on out of bounds. I don't know where we rank nationally, but I feel like when we do have those opportunities, our guys understand there's a chance to score.
We mentioned Ronald Polite. He's a George Mason transfer who's averaging 16 points and 5 rebounds in his last 5 games. He's finding more shots per game and shooting 49.7% from the floor. Both of those things, a major part, of his career and as a Spartan.
Yeah, he had a couple of really good years at Mason. We thought it would really translate here with us, and as the year has gone on, and his IQ is what sets him apart from everyone else. I mean, he's a coach on the floor. Heck, he knows more than I know. So I love having him out there. He's thinking the game the entire time, and he's thinking about how to win. And so that's really awesome to have as a point guard, my type of point guard. But he's done a good job of finding ways to get to the rim. So his percentage is good because he gets some, a lot of layups and he's shooting it really well from three. So effectively, from the field goal percentage standpoint, he's probably one of the highest in the country.
Donovan Atwell leads UNCG in 3 point shooting percentage, 42.5 per game. He also joins Giles in being able to find those triples and do it with consistency from night to night.
Yeah. Yeah, Donovan, man, from the day he got here, we gave him the green light. And, I've never done that before in my career as a head coach, but it's certainly paid off because he's got a lot of confidence and he never hesitates to shoot when he's open, which is what we want. And then, his teammates, I think do a good job of finding him. And, so he's operated with a lot of freedom from the time that he's gotten here, and he's grown as a player over the years. And each year he's gone up significantly in scoring. And then for us this year, he's been very consistent for us, one of our two primary scorers.
Basketball is a pressure packed game. How do you and your staff help players to make their basketball mentalities grow?
Yeah, it's that's an ongoing subject. Mentality is such an underrated part of the game. Everybody puts a lot of weight on the physical aspect of the game, but the mental aspect of the game is probably more important. And for us to come in with the right mentality, regardless of who we play, is really important. We create our own mentality. Nobody else can do that for us. Unless we allow it. And so we talked to our team about that. We want to have that mentality in practice so it becomes a habit in the game. And our mentality really is to be hungry and to be aggressive and to be the hardest playing, most physical team that's on the floor that night. And if we can develop that, then it doesn't matter who we play. If they're not ready for it, then we get us a good win. If they are ready for it, then it's a heck of a game. And that's the way we look at it.
Last thing, Coach, Western Carolina comes to Greensboro, and although UNCG took an 83-55 win over the Catamounts in mid-January, what are good ways that you and your staff have been able to emphasize the need to refocus, despite such a huge win?
Yeah, I mean, the last game has really not a whole lot to do with the upcoming game.
Yep.
They're different, in some ways. We're different in some ways. It's the middle of February now, not the middle of January, and so it's just a totally different environment. You have to take each of these games in its own vacuum, and 100% of your focus has to be on the upcoming game, not on the one before. There's certainly things we can look at and see how they played us and that we can kind of expect. But when this game comes, man, our whole attention has to be on, the team that's playing currently. And so we just try to keep that focus on, day to day. And that's what we'll do against Western Carolina.
Coach Mike Jones and those UNC Greensboro Spartans, one of the top watches. Southern Conference basketball now gets placed on networks on, I think, CBS Sportsnet, right, Coach?
Yep.
It's a solid league. I've always enjoyed following it. I'm an alum of Appalachian, and when I was there, they were in the SoCon.
Right, right. I tell you, they say that this year the SoCon is the most competitive mid-major league in the country with so many games decided by 5 points or less, more than any other conference in the league. And I certainly feel that. I certainly feel the competitiveness, no matter who we play, from VMI and Citadel, who are supposedly the service academies that struggle the most. VMI is having a banner year. And even though Citadel struggled, it's tough every night. And then everybody else, man, they're going to give you their best punch. So, that's good. That keeps your focus and makes sure that you're ready to go night in and night out.
Best of luck, Coach, on the road to potential Southern Conference crown. I look forward to talking to you somewhere down the road.
Hey, always a pleasure to be on your show, man. I really appreciate your support.